And this is it. We said it would come down to it, and it has indeed. All those teams, all those weeks, it's all come down to this moment. I'm joined by the wonderful gentlemen of Working Men and, of course, Reason Gaming. Let's start off. I can imagine nerves might be playing a role. How are you feeling?
Nerves? No, not really, to be honest. I think we're just going to enjoy the final. I mean, we're really good friends, like with the other team. Normally, I actually play with them, so I think it'll just be a bit of a laugh.
Now, Jake, on your road here today, I mean, you've played really well, but you went the distance. Do you think that takes anything in, that you guys are maybe fatigued, anything like that?
I mean, it's a long day, and it's hot. It's always long. You have having to wait around, so we are pretty tired, if I'm honest. But I think we've had our wake-up call, and I think it's good that we had it early on rather than now. So hopefully we can go in strong. Go in strong.
Of course, standing in the way, looking to do the deed is, of course, Bantam. Hey, Reason throughout the day, same story. You guys had to go, you had to do some serious work to get here, but now you're standing here, the trophy's right behind you. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, we faced some adversity, but I think we're ready, to be honest.
Well, I can understand that both of you do want to get to your team, so I'm not going to waste some more time here. I'm going to say, gentlemen, please, shake hands. The best of luck to you both. I can definitely tell that there's definitely a score to be settled. These guys have something to prove, and of course, we know what it's all about. They want to take home that title, be crowned champion of the ESL UK Premiership for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It is about to happen right here, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching, you've been waiting, you've been looking forward to it, and I can say the trophy's ready, these teams look ready. So, it's time to pass over, this time for real, to the man who always can, the wonderful Lord Joseph Fenny.
Thank you very much, Sean, and welcome everyone to the Caster Desk one last time as we're going to head into our finals here of the spring season of the UK Premiership. And I mean, it's been a long time coming, but we're finally here, and it's the Working Men up against Reason Gaming. And I feel like that's kind of the final result that everyone was expecting, but it's been a rocky road over the course of today, and definitely not as smooth sailing as people were anticipating.
Yeah, I think everyone here sort of had that general consensus that this was going to be a lot less close. All of these teams were going to be quite dominant. We especially expected that first game to be the Working Men to dominate over UE, but it didn't. It went the whole distance. Everything was down to the wire, and then we saw the same result in the Infused versus Reason game that we expected to be quite close, but even then it was an absolute bloodbath to the bitter end. So, I mean, Joe, it really has boiled down to the best of the best, really trying to bring their A game now. Yeah, it really has. Let's take a look at our brackets and kind of how we've got here over the course of today. If you guys haven't been watching all day, we have had our two semi-finals. The Working Men managed to best United Estonia 2-1 in much closer game than we were really expecting. And Team Infused, unfortunately, lost out to Reason Gaming, who won 2-1 as well. And then in our third place decider match, it was United Estonia who managed to come out on top. But that means that all we have left to play for is that first place, that silver trophy on its podium. That's what we're here for, and we're going to find out who is going to be able to take that one. Now, the first team that I'm going to introduce to you guys is the Working Men. We saw them right at the very start of the day, and they're here once more to have a crack at that trophy. And just talk me through this lineup one last time, Jackie. These are some big hitting players right here. Yeah, I mean, this is the talent pool. When you look at sort of how deep it can go and how impactful all of these guys can be individually, this is really the creme de la crop of the final when you look at it. I mean, you have so much experience, so much firepower there, and even new blood that's been proven that they can do the damage. And Fry, it's been nice to see as well hints of what we've seen throughout the group stage, and I really want him to prove to us that he can do that on LAN in the final right now. I mean, he's been looking good, but I want him to look better, Joe. And the rest of that team as well. So much experience, so much talent. You look through that, these names pop out to you.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Each and every single one of these is it's a player where when they're in a 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, you're confident that actually they might be able to pull it out. Let's take a look at some of the action that's gone off over the course of the day from the Working Men, what they've really been able to achieve. I believe we've got a little bit of a highlight reel for you guys, and you can just see kind of some of the stuff that they managed to make happen in their series against United Estonia. And I definitely think I'm very intrigued as well, because we've been talking about how Fry is this kind of rookie player. This is his first LAN, and we've been building up that story of like how well he's going to be able to perform here today. And on Reason's side as well, we have that same situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Connor, his very first LAN, how well is he going to perform today? Honestly, my personal opinion, I think Connor's actually stepped up a little bit harder than Fry has. But in the group stage, Fry was definitely on point. Do you think now that we're later on in the day, maybe Fry will be able to kind of ease into it a little bit better?
I think that's the thing. Obviously, you've got a lot of tension early on, but he's done it now. He's overcome it. He's had that semi-final on stage. They were able to beat out the opposition. They're in the final. All of his nerves should have been alleviated. The majority of them anyway. You know, he should feel fairly comfortable in his environment now, start to get to grips with things, and we should have that on display. But as you're saying, Reason obviously as well, they do have Connor, a young talent, a young player. I believe he's only 17, and this is his first LAN as well, and he has been causing a massive stir online, round after round of just highlight clips from him coming out throughout the entire group stage. And if he can repeat some of that here today, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath for the other team. It is just going to be ridiculous. Either of these sides at any moment, Joe, could just go so ridiculous. You have that as well when you look at it. As players like Jacob, as we were saying, someone that's been around for a ridiculous amount of time. So you have that wealth of knowledge there as well to try and aid him through. It is mixed. It is a mixed team, so you know things are a little bit iffy, but there seems to be quite a nice bond. Everything seems to have gelled together. They know what they're doing individually as well. When you look at some of these other players here, T-Sack and Robin, those two, when you think of it, when we've seen from the working men, they are that dynamic duo that not only will they go in, get those opening frags, they'll be able to clutch out the rounds even when it comes down to like the boiling end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's just quickly watch this clip of Robin as he just decimates a full Bali squad of United Estonia. And that map, like, really, to me, said that the working men are here to stay. But let's start to look at their opponents for this map. It is going to be the lineup of Reason, Gabian, and as you can see, I mean, again, it's that same situation of just a list of big hitting names. All of these players very, very capable of just taking these games.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, Keita there as well, being into the mix. Someone that did so much damage with that AWP. Obviously, he's taking a little bit of a step back, been rifling a little bit more towards the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting for me to see firsthand, getting into this final, what he's going to be able to bring to display. Batham as well, someone that I've never seen out of his comfort zone. Always calm, cool, and collective, and can definitely back that up with his individual talent. Really fantastic to watch. Reason, absolute artist with the AK. This man is going to be popping heads all over the place. He's really fun to watch as well because it seems like he does have these moments where the confidence will kick in. He'll try and go for that more aggressive sort of play, and he can definitely back that up with his aim. And then the man we were talking about, Connor, the young talent who's been not only causing a stir, but I mean, he single-handedly can be a one-man army when he needs to be. You're going to see some of the most ridiculous shots now and then just flying out of him, and just think, how has he done this? As if he suddenly just becomes possessed at times. And if he can have even just a few hints of that into this final, Joe, I'm going to be a very happy man. And then to round it off, Weber.
The man of the hour,
yeah,
I think is safe to
really
say.
Is.
Weber has just been going absolutely insane during this tournament. And, you know, in the first map between them and Infused, it didn't feel like Weber was really stepping up. And obviously on Cobble, he was kind of isolated from the rest of his team. There was a little bit of kind of, it felt like teething issues almost. But then as he warmed into it, Mirage just, what even happened?
Because this is the thing as well. He was in a bit of sort of an out of his comfort zone, coming in as the stand-in, right? It's the fact Weber there as well, as that stand-in last minute. Cobblestone, a map that Infused dominate on time and time again. For a reason, it was a shaky one. And then Weber, as soon as it got in to those second maps, you saw him snap back into it. It was like vintage Weber on display there. What I really wanted to see, rolling back the years and causing so much damage.
Yeah, and I think we have a fair few clips of Weber standing by as well. Let's take a quick look at some of the highlights from Reason, because some ridiculous things came out from this team over the course of today. And I mean, it was such a close series between them and Infused as well. Like, especially on Cobble, I was amazed at how well they kind of came back into the game, because it didn't feel like they were going to. It felt like Infused were just going to completely run away with things. Obviously, Infused did win overall, but it's not like Reason just went down without a fight. In that second half, despite being so many rounds down, they still managed to claw, what was it, like 6-7 rounds on the trot. It was very, very impressive.
Yeah, great stuff to see. And I mean, you can really get sort of a feel for some of that individual talent that is going to be popping out throughout this highlight reel here as well, from that Reason game inside. And I mean, this is the thing. Getting into this, it's the same ideal. It just depends out of these two teams right now in this final. Who's ready the most? Who's sort of come into this, has that level head, they're going to come in. It's all about basically setting the pace of the game early on for either of these teams. Because Reason, a lot more structured, but it's the fact if they can try and get that early win under their wings, that's where they're going to be at their scariest. It'll be an absolute behemoth that will just make it so hard for the rest of the side of the working men to try and tear them down and bring them back to an equal peg. But the working men as well, it's the same story, Joe. If they get confidence, they're going to be an absolute bunch of monsters. All of them popping off, going crazy. And I'm definitely scared of Robin at the most of the time. So him when he's just going crazy is going to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah, Robin is definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm curious as to whether we see kind of Robin, leaving the nest on this one and really taking flight, because across the course of today, I've not seen as much out of Robin as I was really expecting. He has had games where he's just gone absolutely sick, but it's not quite been to that same level that I was expecting. He has had moments of that glory, but it's not been that consistent just destruction that we were expecting. And it's kind of more been Weber stepping up to that role. Do you think that he'll be able to kind of live up to that hype? Do you think he's going to be able to match up against his opponent?
I mean, definitely so, because this is the thing as I was sort of touching on before. Weber, he's one of these players. He's not no new kid on the block. He's done this for years upon years, obviously back from Source, when he was playing at the European level, obviously as well, early CSGO, when he was in a Nexus, the team with Rattlesnake and Release and that, when, they were quite a high up ranked CSGO team at that point in time before everything sort of took a step back. He's definitely been a talent that knows he can perform, and performs very well 9 times out of 10 when he gets into these situations. When you're in that grand final and you need someone that can really rile themselves up, bring the energy through them, and do the damage they need to display right now. And if we see that, it'd be fantastic. And the rest of his side as well, all of them have that possibility, Joe. There's going to be so much fantastic stuff into this one.
And you know what? We saw in the group stages, we had the delight of seeing Robin on Cobblestone.
It's true.
Send him over to B site, and you said at the start of the game, send him to B, he will get 3 entries every round. And like 3 or 4 rounds, he did live up to that expectation, got the 3Ks. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe the first map is going to be Cobblestone. The players are warming up right now on the map, and I believe we should have the map veto to be able to have a quick peek at and see what the actual map pool is going to be for this grand final. It's going to be best of 3 between these two teams, so there will be 3 maps in total. I can tell you that the first one is Cobble, not 100% sure on the other 2 just yet. But also, before we head into the game, I do just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Kinguin. Obviously, you can get all of the skins and games and things that you could ever desire on kinguin.net, and they've helped us out a lot with the Premiership, as you can tell by the penguin stuck around the studio.
Beaky and Peaky, the boys.
Now stapled to the wall. Rest in peace, Peaky and Beaky. But either way, this is the map rotation here. It's going to be Cobblestone, Mirage, and Cache to kick things off. And I mean, we've seen all 3 of these maps today, but not quite in this selection.
Wow, this is actually a really scary map pool for me. I feel there's a lot of potential for this to actually be quite a swift 2-0 if the working man come in strong and have a great display. Cobblestone is going to be highly contested. Both of these teams can play it to a ridiculously high level and do it well. I mean, the thing is, getting into this, I'm expecting us to most likely go the full 30 rounds. I reckon we're going to see a 30-round game on Cobblestone here. It's going to go down to the wire. There is potential that working men can peek it out, and if they do so, Mirage is their hometown. They adore it. All of these players, time and time again, go crazy. And the thing is as well, one of the men we were talking about, Fry, he always performs on Mirage. I don't think we've seen a time where he really hasn't had the best game on that map. So this could be actually quite a scary map pool here. Reason, they need to come in hard. They need to show who they are today and really live up to that brand name.
And that's going to be the thing as well, because I mean, you mentioned Mirage and how the working men absolutely love that map. Fry, it's kind of where he really thrives. But if there's a player we've seen today doing well on Mirage, it has been Weber. He went absolutely sick on Mirage earlier on today. And if he can pull a similar kind of scoreline on Mirage again in the grand final, then Reason certainly will be in with a shot. But it could well be down to this Cobblestone map, especially, as you say, with how good working men are on Mirage. Maybe they need to win this map on Cobble to really be in this series and kind of push it to 3 games onto Cache.
It's true. I mean, this could go so many ways. If we don't see this going to a 2-1 scoreline in any way, Joe, I'm going to be highly, highly surprised. This really should be the battle of the ages between these two sides. You have basically the all-out aggression, the behemoths that are going to be charging in, trying to tear down the walls, and then the sturdy sort of knights of the side of Reason that are going to have that structure and try and ward off their opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just can't wait to get this one started. I can't wait to get underway for this, because it is, as you rightly say, it is going to be that kind of battle of the behemoths. And you know, in a lot of situations, a lot of finals and things, you end up with almost like a David and Goliath story. That's not the case here. These are just definitely just 2 Goliaths. Yeah. And it's just going to be a straight up fist fight between them. And honestly, it's very difficult to call who's going to be able to take this one. I do think working men do have an advantage here. I'm not going to lie, but I definitely don't think it's so. It's definitely not a ridiculous statement to say that this will go to 3 games. Yeah. Reason definitely are in with a shot.
I agree with you there, though. I mean, it seems like there is that slight advantage. Looking at the veto here, for me personally, I feel like there is that marginal advantage to the side of the working men. If they come in hard and fast, they could definitely try and get the wind under their wings. That amount of confidence as well. If they actually best out Reason on their map pick early on Cobblestone, that's going to be such a hard-hitting factor. There's always that chance that that could gloom over you in towards the second map. And you're going up against the working men on a map like Mirage, where they're hyped and you feel a little bit down in the dumps. It's not a great situation to be in, so it could be a little bit awkward, but even then, Joe, this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how well Cobble goes for Reason right now, because, you know, Cobble it's their map pick. They have to do well on this map or they are going to be in trouble. And we saw earlier on today, Connor was absolutely awesome on Cobble. He did such a good job, but despite that, they actually lost their game on Cobble to Infused. Infused were able to take that game out. Do you think that's maybe going to be playing on their minds a little bit here?
So here's the thing as well. They definitely are a very competent team on Cobble. Like, there's no chance that, you know, they're sort of like a subpar team, but it's just Infused as well. Infused have always played Cobble. I mean, if you look for the amount of lineups that Red Snake's been in, usually Cobblestone's one of those maps that he will always try and get into the rotation if he can. He's always favoured it, and the majority of teams he's been in have sort of played very effectively on Cobblestone. So it's no new ground for him, you know what I mean? It's all been there, it's done and dusted. Yep. Where for a reason as well, coming into that, they played very well. I feel like it just took them too long to get that energy behind them. You know, if this might have been map 2 out of that series, it could have been a whole different tale, because there was definitely sort of hints of everyone finally starting to step up. It seemed like everyone was just a little bit not awake right then.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's kind of the story of both of the first games in our semi-finals. It kind of felt like one of the teams was still warming up a little bit. Like the United Estonia obviously won the very first game of the day, and it felt like they were against a different working men to what we saw in game 2 and 3. And certainly in game 3, the working men were just finally on top of things and just kind of started to plow on through. And if we see that working men coming straight into the first map, then actually this is going to look a little bit scary for Reason. And Reason, they're going to have to really pull things out. And to be quite honest, I think Reason is going to be very important that they win the knife round. If they can get whichever side it is that they want to start on. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of Reason. Would you rather go for the terrorist side, try and get the pace going like how you want it to be going, or would you go for the more defensive CT side?
I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, a map like this as well is sort of inherently T-sided slightly, and it's one of these maps that you can warm up on as well. Sort of with that T-side, you can try and set the pace of the game. And for the working men, I feel like if they do get that T-side, that's where there's going to be a little bit of havoc. But either team can definitely display that entry fragging capability. They know how to be explosive. And it really just comes down to, at the time, who's going to be able to land them shots, who's going to be able to take those fakes and actually have the confidence behind them to just tap down their opponent. I think we're going to see a lot more flamboyant play than we actually expect coming out from Reason here, really just bringing their A game. And I mean, Jacob even said it himself when he was interviewed. He didn't want to play Reason. He wanted to play Infused in this final. He said if there was one of the teams he would have picked, it would have been them versus Infused. Obviously, Reason and the working men, they're all good friends. These guys have known each other for years, the majority of them, you know what I mean? It's no new ground. This is a bit of a domestic matchup in some ways as well, which adds to sort of the commotion.
I was going to say, that kind of makes it just, there's a lot more on the line, not in terms of just like kind of pride things, but these players know each other. They know how they play, they know the styles and everything, but by the looks of things, the game is underway, ladies and gentlemen. So let me introduce for one last time our grand finalists. It's the working men up against Reason as we head onto Cobblestone to begin our grand final. The knife round is underway. We're going to be kicking things off. And honestly, to some extent, I almost feel like a lot of this series is going to be down to kind of Robin versus Weber. Who can really just be that kind of god tier player?
But this is the thing, those parallels are all over the place. You've got Robin versus Weber. You've got Fry versus Connor, you know, and coming into it as well, when Keita's popping off, Keita versus Jacob, there's all this sort of individual skill that could be flying out at different times and really cause this fantastic matchup. Every one of these players is so talented and so experienced in different ways.
Batham and Dudley as well, to some extent, like the captains of their teams, they're the ones that have got to be like leading the charge for them. So it's going to be interesting, but the working men do win out that knife round, so they're going to be able to select which side of the map they want to go for. And I'm curious to see whether they do stick on this CT side. I mean, CT on most maps generally is a very comfortable side to start on. You don't really have too many worries from that side. You just play it kind of slow, calculated, work out what your opponents are going to be doing, work out the play style that they're going to be going for. But if you really want to like grab the game with both hands, I think, especially on a map like Cobblestone, then the T side is kind of the way forward.
Yeah, it definitely is. You can set the pace of the game. You can just bring that all-out aggression and really sort of show what you want to bring to the table and what you want to bring throughout this entire grand final right there and there.
Well, it looks like I think the CT side is going to be their selection. And we're going to be able to get this game underway, just waiting for the players to ready up. And we will be starting things off for our grand final. And honestly, these first few rounds are going to be so important for both of these teams, just in terms of morality, in terms of kind of that mentality, that momentum moving forwards, all of the M words. And, you know, if you can win that pistol, if you can win the next couple of rounds off the back of that, that can pay dividends for you in just terms of making sure that everybody's on the same page, everybody's hyped, everybody's got that adrenaline pumping and they're just ready to go.
Here's the thing as well, right? Getting into it, that first pistol round, so many of these players are just very, very talented when it comes down to that initial pistol round. Over on the side of Reason, when you look at it, Connor's someone that is actually so ridiculously crisp in those initial rounds at just shutting people down on a whim. And then funnily enough as well, Jacob was talking to me earlier, you know, he came over to me and he said, when I was watching about the VODs, you said at one point, I'm a pistol player. You said I always perform well on pistols. And I thought, I'm not. And then he said to me, ever since that, he's been getting at least 3Ks on opening pistol rounds in the Prem. And I said, yeah, because it is one of these things where you do see these players that seem just ridiculously powerful. When it comes to that initial round, they can bring their A game. And 9 times out of 10, Joe, they do. So let's hope Jacob and Connor can definitely start off well for both of their sides into this one.
And this is going to be the thing as well. We've already said it multiple times now. It's kind of like these parallels between these players. And Connor, definitely one that I'm going to keep my eyes on throughout this game, but let's get this match underway. We're finally ready to start, and in just a couple of seconds, this very first match of the grand final here of the Spring 2016 season of the UK Premiership is underway, and it's going to be Reason Gaming on this terrorist side, deciding which site they want to push for. And can't say I'm too surprised to see a slow, calculated push for the very first round of the game. You do not want to just throw this one away.
Yeah, this is really nice as well because it seems like basically they're going to go for that split play where they late round link on towards the A bomb site with 2 of them working their way through drop. Actually could just be going for the lurk here, trying to sell the idea of the fake towards B early. It is just going to be that A pincer late into the game. There's a nice crossfire setup with Jacob towards mid. And I don't feel like we will actually see that come into effect. Obviously, everyone just working up right now through side. Actually, Connor could be the one to instigate some warfare.
Certainly could, but looks like he does back away from that one in the end. And these CTs just holding these angles. They don't want to do anything too risky. Just let Reason walk into their crosshairs. There's no reason for them to be the aggressors in this situation. But Jacob, under a little bit of fire, does throw out that smoke, and this crossfire could come into play. A couple of headshots do come in. Connor is going to drop as well as the first fight is underway, and the CTs are doing wonders here. The working men are certainly working hard because it is going to be 4 against 0 right there. The working men take the round comfortably.
And that's the thing, I was worried we weren't actually going to see that crossfire come into effect, but in the end, they did go for the all-out aggression towards mid. They busted out through the smoke, but unfortunately, they bypassed Jacob to run straight in towards Dudley. He had all the time in the world to just tap down 2 of the opponents, and Jacob comes in with a hailstorm tapping away with a 5-7. They get that all-important pistol round, Joe, and this takes a little bit of weight off their shoulders, but the scary thing is, they have to get this round. If you lose this round, you put your economy in such a horrific state on that CT side. It's basically irreversible for quite some time, and Reason, they want to try and just batter them down now, hitting them with the all-out aggression, everyone just charging their way upside. Jacob will basically be the first port of call. He needs to try and hold them back. Dudley's there as well, tapping away with a Famus, getting a Hellstorm on bullets now, but he can't quite find the frag, and there's Jacob chiming in. Great stuff so far. Has to switch out to his secondary, but he finds the frag anyway. Batham up close and personal, taps away. Will be able to best him, but only 2 frags come out. That is going to be 2 rebuys, but unfortunately, Reason couldn't pick up that round.
Yeah, they certainly couldn't, and that is going to be a nice little round for the working men. They kind of comfortably won that one, only losing a couple of players. And on that CT side, you know, it's very simple sometimes to lose a couple of the players. If they do rush with all 5 members and you've only got 2 on the side, the odds are these players are going to end up going down. But bringing people with them, making sure that it was always going to be a round that the working men were ahead in. But now we're going to see a full eco out of Reason. There's not really a whole lot that they can do in this one if they want to go for that round 4 rifle buy that we see all time. There we go, just smoking it off, like trying to hold these players back, but it's all going to be about Dudley in the middle of the map with that 5-7. He realizes he's against pistol players, so he goes, you know what? Parlay, I'll bring out my pistol too, and I'll tell you what.
Yeah, obviously just trying to fight fire with fire here. Fry as well, tapping down. Find the frag on towards Weber even, but Keita will actually fall off the back of Dudley, tapping down with a 5-7. And finally, those rounds are out of the way. 3 rounds on the board for the working men, and the rifle buy does come in for a reason. This is where they need to try and show who they are. As AKs are in hands, they're locked and loaded, Joe. But can they pick up round 4?
Yeah, Dudley is going to be having a whale of a time right now, already onto his AWP, and that is going to be crucial because Dudley, this tournament has just been exceptional with that sniper. He has been taking heads left, right, and center, and he has not been messing about. But an SMG and a FAMAS still on this lineup of the working men. T-Sack and Jacob, not quite with a full armory, but we've seen them really step up anyway, and I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for them. I think if they are still hitting their shots nicely, it's just not going to matter.
Nice teamwork actually on display from Reason right now. No reason to go overly aggressive. They can just slow it down, work with this default, see if they can be able to find that initial pick of the workmen getting a bit overzealous, obviously charging in and giving them the opener. This could be quite scary. Jacob is in this close angle. Has the backup of Dudley as well with this crossfire, Joe. If they put their way into this, they could shut it down very quickly.
They certainly could. Dudley with the AWP, and this is pretty much ground to a halt. Neither team wants to be the one to make the first move. They both want their opponent to be the one to make a mistake, to overstep their boundaries and be punished for it. But Reason, slowly but surely, are running out of time. 42 seconds left on the clock, so they're going to have to make something happen fairly soon. And Dudley just going to be watching over towards mid. He's just waiting for Batham to push on out, but don't know if he's going to be able to get that shot. Did spot the player out, I believe, but no, misses the shot. That should have been a hit. He misses it again. Bad news for Dudley, but Jacob is going to be able to answer. No, he's not. Keita gets the headshot. And what is going on for the working men here? Dudley finally hits that shot, that all-important shot, and now he's going to find himself pretty much overwhelmed as Reason takes him down to 2 versus 3, but it's going to be Fry on the scene, taking one to start things off. T-Sack has arrived on the scene as well, and he's going to find Reason caught out. Weber suddenly alone with these 2 CTs pushing in.
Yeah. Can we see hints of that individual skill we saw on display on Mirage? Nice flick, but unfortunately couldn't quite connect the shot, and T-Sack's going to be able to best him. Went for the elevated angle, pulled down the trigger, and they remove Reason from the game. And what a weird round there. Working men early on couldn't find their footing. So many whiffs on display. The apple crumbles. Reason were able to capitalize. They get on towards the bomb site. They've done the hard part, but a retake comes out, and the working men keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, they certainly do. I've got to say, it was kind of a sharp breath in when, at the start of that round, we saw Keita, I think it was Jacob that he bested with that FAMAS, and we saw Dudley missing a couple of those pretty simple AWP shots, but all in all, eventually it did work out. And I think that one of the things is as well, had Dudley hit a couple of those AWP shots, if he'd not missed his targets early on, he wouldn't have been overwhelmed later on in that round. He would have been in a much more manageable situation. And, you know, just a couple of missed shots really can just lose you around on the spot.
Obviously, as well, it's that mental factor. As soon as you miss that first shot, it does put a little bit of a dampener on things. It feels like it's slightly harder to get that
follow-up. It puts a lot of pressure on the next shot, doesn't it? Yeah. Then Dudley was able to kind of get back on the horse, though, and make it happen later on in the round. So we'll see if he can kind of, you know, regain his composure, stay on top of things, and make sure that this kind of situation doesn't happen again. T-Sack just getting completely smoked out over towards the B side. Or actually, I think it's on the higher ground. But Reason, once more, just letting this clock tick out, making sure that when the push happens, it has to be quick and it has to be snappy. And the working men are going to have to kind of make that snap reaction.
Reason as well, obviously, as you've been saying. I've been trying to slow things down a little bit. They want to force the hand, force that first play out of the working men. Nothing is going to be going their way just yet. Still by their time, 30 seconds left on the clock. So the call is going to have to be made soon. The opener comes in. Dudley with a nice little shot on towards Connor. Keita is going to have to push in towards Jacob as well. There is some havoc being caused towards the bomb site. They want to force out a rotate, but with only 20 seconds left on the clock, you doubt they'll actually fall for this trap. Batham is going to fall. Keita will respond as he takes down Dudley. but caught out in a wide open angle. Not much he can really achieve, and it just rides on Reason. Bounces his way in towards B, just wants to try and do a little bit of damage towards the height of the CTs, but unfortunately for him, Fry was locked and loaded, taps him down, and he hits the ground.
I'll tell you what, this is a convincing start here for the Working Men. 5 rounds in a row now, and they are starting to build up a fair bit of cash to work with. Not the end of the world just yet. They're not quite run away with it to the point where they can just lose round after round and still continue to fall by, but they are starting to build up a little bit of a bank. You've got almost 7k on Fry and Dudley as well with 5k to work with. So, you know, in future rounds, they do have that buffer to fall back on, and you can see that the frag's really just not there for Reason just yet. Their top frag still just on 3 kills, and here we go, T-Sack with a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he does get completely blinded, and Batham gets the opening kill, but Fry cannot trade it. He only gets 1 kill, and Weber takes him out in the end. So now 3 versus 3 as Dudley has found one with his AWP, and it's all about Robin over towards Connector. Unfortunately, the frag not quite going where he wants it there.
3 versus 3 retake. Bomb hasn't been planted just yet, and it's a little bit awkward to actually recover that. Weber's going to have to go for a bit of a wide peek. Luckily, the time will come in eventually. And they found 1 frag as well. Jacob tiptoeing his way in towards the bomb site, seeing if he can just sneak his way up and try and get an opening frag, but things are going to be so very hard. Has the backup of Dudley if he misses that opening shot to at least quickly get the trade. The flashbang goes over for Weber to be allowed to peek. Drops out, spamming away. And luckily for him, he had his teammate as well to shut down Jacob, so both of them hit the ground. Reason get their first round on the board.
That was a beautiful little flash. Completely blinded both opponents, just straight over the statue, not one that they were expecting to come through. And it means now that Reason have got their footing on this map. It felt like they were slipping and sliding back down the mountain, but they've managed to kind of grab on, get their ice pick sunk in, and now it looks like they're here to stay as they've got a full rifle buy. And Robin actually decided to go with the shotgun in this one, and I'm curious to see what he can really do with this one, how much of an effect it's going to have on this round, if he can actually find those close quarter fights, because, you know, it's great if they do go straight into him, into drop down, you know, nice easy kills when you've got that shotgun, but if he doesn't find anyone there, if he has to go into the A site with that, it's not a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's so stipulations that obviously, if he isn't able to do his job with that weapon and upgrade early, retake situations late into the round could be a little bit awkward for Robin here. But we know just how much of a powerhouse this man can be when he pops off at random times. Let's see if this is going to be one of them. Will evade the flash, placing towards the wall. The peaks do begin to come out. Reason might have spotted him there, just going for the random tap. Looks like they want to try and go for some aggression once more, just baiting him here, making him believe that this will be that play initially. As you can see where the bomb is put as well, though. They want to try and go for that late round A play into this one, as everyone just tiptoes round, just holds their ground for the meantime.
They certainly do, and this is what we've seen out of Reason time and time again here on this map, which is playing it slow, and then once that 40-second mark hits, that's when they start to push in, and it's going to be all on Jacob right here on this A site, and he's got Dudley backing him up, but a molly is going to force him away. Has to change position, and it's going to be a trade 1-for-1 as Dudley arrives on the scene, gets Batham down with the AWP, and Weber still over here at drop down, looking to try and punish someone on that rotation, but Fryer's found him and he gets that headshot. Nice little play coming out from him, and only 3 terrorists remaining. It's going to be all on Keita to find this kill, and he can't connect the shot. The aim punch actually coming in. No, he didn't. He's got armor on. I don't know what I'm talking about, but either way, it's going to be T-Sack finding one. Connor does trade it back. Ooh. If Connor can dodge these bullets, if he can just hold on for a little bit of time, he's going to be in a good spot, but it's not going to happen in the end. T-Sack finishes him off. And that means that it is going to be the Working Men getting back on top of things.
Yeah, this is great as well. And I mean, Dudley wasn't able to land that flick, but it was beautiful. Flicked his way up there, would have been able to get such a massive frag. And if you look at it right now as well, this is the Dudley we wanted to see. 11 frags on the board. They've been quite nice, being able to get essentially consistent openers for the Working Men. We've seen hints of Dudley playing like this time and time again throughout the season, but it was never this consistent. And so far, in the semi-final and the final now, he's definitely displaying that he has some of this talent on display.
Yeah, Dudley has been just stepping up in this one, and Reason, they need to find a way to shut him down. They need to take that AWP off of him, because, you know, Dudley has been one of these players that when he's had that AWP, he's been exceptional, but in terms of rifle play, when they're not actually in the lead, it's been very difficult to simulate that same kind of success. So I think it's one of the Working Men are kind of one of these teams that when they've got momentum, they're great. But here we go. The fight is going to kick off, and T-Sack starts things off right. Weber on the stairs, though, trying to find some headshots, but he doesn't find any targets. And now they found themselves in a 3 versus 3. The health bars are not feeling too great for this T side of Reason. And with the AWP still in the hands of Dudley, the working men look to be in a pretty solid spot here. The bomb should be able to go down here on the B site though, and force the working men to have to make the moves. It's going to be Vathan finding yet another headshot, but two players are going to push towards him. Jacob finishes him off in the end as Keita is just waiting for this push and will find the headshots. Traded straight back though as Jacob arrives on the scene, and now it's this 1v1. Reason is waiting for it and gets it with the Galil. Nice little play out of him. Reason once more get back on the map.
Wow, good stuff there. They have to keep this up, though. This is the thing. We've seen them do this before and then be shut down, Joe, and that just puts you in a worse situation. I mean, yeah, you've got the round, but it's going to take you so much longer now to get that economy back to even just a stable position to get that buyout. They really can't afford that to happen. They have to keep this ball rolling, try and punish the working men. And the best thing about this is, as well, is they have busted the economy of the working men. Only on pistols here. This round should be theirs. If they throw this away, it is going to be ridiculous. All-out mid-aggression coming out there, everyone flooding through. Dudley just going for the information play here. He has that. He can try and flank behind now. Everyone rotating over. They're aware that this is going to be a fast A-take from Reason Gamer, but what can they achieve? Reason firing down will remove Dudley from the scene. No flank for you today.
Absolutely not, but there's 4. Make that 3 CTs remaining with only pistols to work with. The bomb is down and the AKs are in hands, but realistically, the working men players don't have anything to lose in this round, so they definitely should go for some kind of hero play, but I don't know really if they're going to be able to make this happen. They definitely have to connect those headshots, but Weber is just laying in wait, poised, ready to pounce the second somebody tries to peek him. And we've seen just how on point Weber's shot has been today. He's barely missed a single bullet, but the bomb looks like it will be going off. I thought one of them was going to look to try and get a sneak defuse on that one, but I think they're just searching for some exit frags. They are going to get taken down, though, in the end, as Weber tries to get into the stairs. Does just about get away with it.
Yeah, it could have been awkward there as well there, because obviously they didn't invest anything into that one, didn't even have armor, so it's not like actually finding those frags would have helped them out too much in forcing rebuys from the working men. So great that Reason didn't run that risk too much, get a little bit over aggressive and actually lose any of those AKs. Just the one. That rebuy isn't going to cost them too much money. Now getting into this, Joe, they have to keep it up though. It's got to be consistent here. We're starting to see that fire be reignited for the side of Reason, but I want to see it set ablaze. I want everyone really going huge here. Once again, return to the A aggression. Looks like just a massive mid play, all out aggression charging out, but Dudley, he's been on point with the AWP, switching out to the rifle now and still living up to his name as he rips his way through Connor, one of those star players on the side of Reason, and he's trying to do some more as well. Not only a 2K, he gets the hat trick. T-Sack will chime in one as well on towards Reason, and it just rides on Keita. He finds his way on towards the bomb site, but from behind, Robin pops out and mows him down.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming out from the working men, and it feels like round to round we see a different working men squad. Like, where was this squad 2 rounds ago when they lost out their rifle? It just didn't feel like the same players, and then that one is just such a simple defense coming out from them. Fantastic positioning, catching the enemy off guard, and just making things happen. And that gets them a 7th round on the board, and Reason once again start to kind of lose that economy. They do have this rifle buy to work with, but if they lose this round, it is going to be a sorry situation for them. But likewise for the working men, you know, this has been pretty much a forced buy out of them. They've lost any loss bonus at this stage should Reason manage to take this round. So, you know, this isn't the greatest situation for them either. Whoever wins this round is going to have a huge advantage in terms of catch.
Yeah, that's true indeed. An awful lot of damage has been transferred over on towards Reason early into this one. They're not looking too healthy as they try and make their onslaught towards the bomb site. They are aware of the positioning of the CTs, they're just hiding in Trick and Cute. That is going to be T-Sap at the back of his teammate Fry as well, ready to try and go for these picks. But can they find them? Just edging out in the meantime. A minute still left on the clock. The bomb isn't down. They don't have to go so aggressive, but they want to make this situation easier for themselves, and T-Sack does just that. Rails down Keita. Reason will respond though, and Weber chimes in with a frag on towards Jacob as well. It's a 2 versus 3. Dudley is trying to rotate over, has to help out T-Sack here. They're still aware of his position, he's basically trapped. Had to go for the desperation peek, and Connor puts him in an early grave. Dudley on the scene. 1 versus 3 over Famous. They are all fairly low on the side of Reason, but they have that manpower advantage. Dudley wants to make it a little bit better, trying to equalise, but unfortunately for him, Weber with a nice simple tap straight into the cranium.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dudley has just been stepping up so much in this game. He is on 15 kills right now, 5 more than anyone else in the game, and definitely showing that he is wanting to take this one. But Reason do their very best and do manage to take that round. And honestly, it felt like Dudley maybe needed to rotate a little bit quicker on that one. But again, it's one of those situations where the bomb hadn't been spotted. So it's like, I can rotate, but what if they're selling a fake? What if they do end up going to A? He had to hang around a little bit longer than he would have liked. And now it's just going to be pistols for the side of the working men. Just a couple of P250s, a Deagle as well to work with. Look at this weird split coming out from these CTs.
Obviously, just playing that retake style of CS right now, there is that welcome out on towards the B-bomb site. They're allowed to just go in if they dare to do so, wasting a lot of time on their own as well. And we see the lurk. This is going to be so critical because he can shut down everyone. That's Weber. This is really smart play from the man. Obviously, just going to be holding the angles. They're going to push into him towards his left. That's where the push is coming from T. Meanwhile, on the bomb site, everybody starting to kick up a stir. He will eventually check it, but unfortunately wasn't aware. Robin, given enough time to just tap him down, has the AK as well here. He can just back off and hold on to that, just scavenge that weapon, save himself some cash in the next round, and let his teammates that have invested nothing just try and force rebuys out, damage the economy of Reason.
Absolutely. And a little bit of a pistol duel going on, but Keita will win that one out with the Tech 9, but it is going to be the round going the way of Reason. Nobody here to defuse the bomb. And that means, I mean, look how back and forth this has been the last couple of rounds here. Just very, very scrappy, and you can kind of see that in how much cash these teams have. Nobody is really that far ahead. It's been very much just a game of force buys at this stage. Robin does manage to get away with that AK as Connor punishes Fry and finishes off that last player. But look at, I mean, what do you do if you're working men here? It looks like the answer is force buy, but it's not going to be the most convincing buy you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, they can buy up around it, because obviously Robin, that was massive that he was actually able to scavenge that weapon. The cash was a little bit iffy, but they can get that force out off the back of the drop. Dudley as well is going to be able to don the AWP, but has the glass cannon, so could be a little bit iffy. You never know if this could come into effect. Only an MP9 on towards Fry as well. Reason going to go with that B-smoke we've seen so many times, and they're actually just going to go for the all-out aggression with it as well. Keita entering actually with a P90, a weapon that is going to favour that advanced movement, just trying to blast your way in and really just brutalize your opponent. Let's see if it's going to come into effect. I think actually transferred on towards Connor. He's knocked down to 4 HP. I like this as well, though. A mid-round boost up on top of Tree. He's an elevated angle now. This is a really good spot, but they're going to try it on the opposite side. Fry as well. The luck of the draw as he has that MP9. It allows him to take down Connor in just a simple few taps.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it's going to be Keita stepping up with the P90. Mows through 3 players. Here's the tap onto that bomb, but Fry isn't stupid. He's not going to stick to that one. And gets a double spray with the M4, catching those players looking the wrong direction completely. Reason isn't going to check this. He knows that it's about to tick down, and he doesn't even have to take this fight, but he's going to anyway. Gets the kill, gets the round for Reason. And what looked like an incredibly one-sided game, the working men were so far ahead. They're suddenly losing grip of everything. They had their first 5 rounds in a row, but now we've turned into a 7-6 game. And Reason, now on a hat-trick of rounds, they're getting this in their favor once more.
Yeah, they are. This is fantastic as well, right? Because this is what we wanted to see. And this is what we were worried about. It's the fact that Reason seem like sometimes if they don't have that early, fast start, it takes them a little while to warm up. But now they're starting to look fairly effective. Round after round, we're seeing flair of what we wanted to see. Players starting to pop off. They need to keep this up, though. Just get themselves the best possible half they can. If they can go through this on an 8-7 scoreline with them in the favourites, that C half is going to be so much easier for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. Here we go. I believe the pause actually coming in here because Robin had his mouse acceleration enabled. So we'll be turning that one off as we head further into the game. And the unpause comes on through. So fingers crossed, Robin, now that he's turned off mouse acceleration, should be a little bit better off. And you know, enhanced cursor accuracy or whatever it's called, maybe it doesn't actually enhance your accuracy that well.
True, obviously could throw a spanner into the work, so glad they found it out soon. Nice counter boost coming out, and there he is instantly as he turns off Mouse Excel. He's allowed to get that nice little frag on towards Batham. Catches him off guard, but not really mattering too much as Keita on a rampage right now. This lunatic as he just barrages his way in towards the B-bomb site and takes whatever he wants, taking no hostages. And then it came down to one Dudley. A top fragger for his side, been looking very effective. There's actually scavenged himself a P90, but unfortunately for him, Connor had that angle on lockdown, and it just took a single tap to remove him from the game.
Yeah, it certainly did. I've taken the jacket off now. We're getting down and dirty on this one because it is 7-7. This is as close as it gets. Either way, as we head into the next... Keita is absolutely loving the P90, by the way. This game, he's just absolutely adoring that weapon right now. And, I mean, regardless who wins this round, it's an incredibly even scoreline going into the second half, and I expected no less from these two teams. Reason have been stepping up. You know, we were saying Working Men was certainly the favourite going into this series. And it definitely felt that way starting the game off, but now Reason seem to have kind of got into the groove of things. They've picked up the slack just a little bit, and now they've managed to equalize. And it's all in the hands of Reason on this terrorist side. Their final terrorist round. We'll see what they're going to do with this opportunity.
Slow stuff right now. It is an early B stack from the side of the working men. Hasn't really played in their favour too much though, as they wanted to try and plant that seed of doubt, just lampoon them a little bit and then go for the A play later on. They're trying to force out that rotate, but good stuff from the working men. They're not going to be overzealous and try and force their way on towards the B-bomb side. Dudley still holding this angle. It's going to be so massive into this round here, Joe. He needs to get that opening frag and then relay the information of what's going on. TSAC has mid on lockdown, just has to eliminate Batham.
That he does. There's going to be only 3 members remaining for the working men, but they do still have those 2 snipers, and Dudley is going to equalize things as he finds out Connor. Keita is going to get railed as well, as Dudley is on fire this round. 2 more terrorists is all that remains. They do have that bomb though, and I think the rotation over towards that B site might just have to be the call here, as Reason is going to be able to find out TSAC, so it's only the snipers remaining. If they can get up close and personal, then Reason are very much in with a chance of winning this.
That's true. That's where the real firepower is going to come into effect. Great stuff as well, as either side does actually have utility left to play with here. Unfortunately, no flashes for the working men. They have that all-important defuse kit, and something has to happen soon. Getting that opening frag, they have to go to the commit here. They're aware that he's planting in towards the smoke. I don't actually think he's got this. Yeah. Barely off there as he planted just as it turned from 4 seconds, so there was no time to actually get that plant, and there it is.
For a millisecond there, I was very confused as to how the round had ended, and it clocked that it had been planted just a millisecond too late.
And that is a crazy way to end it.
I know, yeah. That means that this first half is going to go the way of the working men. After all of that, very, very close stuff, and Reason Gaming slightly on the back foot, but now going over towards that CT side, and it's down to the working men on kind of what they want to do with this terrorist side, because there are a few different styles that you can really go with on the terrorist side here. You can go with that very slow calculated play that we saw a lot from Reason, definitely in the kind of first section of the game, or you can just charge B. And that is a legitimate strategy, and it works a lot of the time. The B site is very hard to defend if you just go kind of Tropic Thunder style, just charging on in.
And that's the thing as well, especially in those pistol rounds, Joe. That's when that mobility factor comes into play quite heavy. You're able to just bust your way in towards the site, overwhelm your opponent, and then work from then on out. So we could see that come into effect very heavily. It's what we saw as well with Keita, and you mentioned the P90. It's the fact a weapon like that, you can be agile. You can just overwhelm your opponent because they're just thinking, what can I do? He's on the move, and it just really puts a dampener on everything.
Yeah, and especially if you are against the lineup like we just saw out of there with the working men having 2 AWPs to work with, if you're going with a P90, that kind of style of play, if you can sneak around an alternate route and find your way to those players, there's no way that they win that little duel with the SMG up against an AWP. It almost always will go the way of the SMG unless a crazy no-scope can come into play. But here we go. Second half is underway, and it is going to be the working men on this terrorist side. They have a slight advantage, and we're going to see once more this triple grenade strategy coming out, as Robin going to be the one with the utility to work with, but no kind of super soldiers coming in on this one.
Yeah, obviously no one with the Tech 9 and the armor into this round. Could be something that could come back to bite them, you never know. But slow style CS, so they're not really trying to go for that rush style play that overwhelm them, so it won't be that ridiculous early on. They just want to try and see if Reason will play into their trap card and just push in towards them. Doesn't seem like anything will happen. The only downside is, for the working men, is look at Weber. He's got all of this information. He's tiptoed his way out. He can clear all of this. They're going to be 100% aware that this is a B play. Keita as well has to be key into this round. Unfortunately, only claimed 1, but he's still got his frag into the round. Fry is trying to do some more damage as well. Batham trapped on towards Olafmeister. He's getting a hailstorm of bullets zipping past his ears.
He certainly is, and it's going to be Jacob chiming in as he gets Weber on the rotation. Now Batham still trying to hold this push with that USP. Tags that player, but now that Weber is gone, they're comfortable to go over towards A. They were watching earlier on. They know that Weber loves to sit on this A site, and now that they know Weber's down, they figure that this is going to be pretty open. Connor is on the scene, though, and takes the head clean off of Jacob's shoulders, and now suddenly 3 versus 2, and the counter rotation comes back in. They sold a fake, and they've gone over towards this B site now. We've already got T-Site, or Frey, sorry, on this scene, and he's going to be looking to try and pop some heads with this USP. Finds Connor for himself, and he's looking for Reason, but Dudley is going to be the one to take that kill. And there we go. the working men starting things off correctly. They've got another round in the bag, and most importantly, they've started to build up that economic advantage. They've got that little bit of momentum in their favour.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, this is what I was worried about, right? You get that nice hefty start, you just bombard them, you hit them with everything you've got, it overwhelms them. And you can see with the arsenal they've gone for as well. I like this. They have that capability if they want to work their way towards the B-bomb site. Send the 2 players with the rifles towards Olofmeister. They can cover the site, whilst the rest of the SMGs can go a little bit more aggressive, try and work their way potentially towards drop down, and just hit them with that fast style of CS. Good boost actually coming out as well. They're going to get him in that elevated angle so he can look over Dudley here as well. He can cover Olofmeister, which makes his life a million times easier. And they don't have to make the play here. They just have to wait out late into the round, wait until Reason have used up their limited utility, and then make their way in.
Yeah, they certainly do. A couple of shotguns as well coming out from Reason here, so if they can find those close angles, they are going to be in a good spot. But the Molly going to come out onto those newly placed stairs. Weber waiting in the wings as a couple of his teammates are going to be finished off. The CZ can do wonders though. T-Sang finding yet another kill, but it's all onto Weber. Finds one for himself, can't connect the shots for the second, and suddenly Reason finds himself alone, and Dudley once more will be the man to finish off the round. And that is going to be the working men. 2 on the trot now in this second half, and looking strong moving forwards. They can again go for these SMGs. They know that their opponents are going to have nothing to work with here.
Look at that, as you were saying, the cache obliterated. These SMGs are going to be so easy as well now. They don't have to worry. Reason they don't have anything really to punish them with. These pistols can be useful in close angles, but just being standardized pistols, not wanting to try and risk it of going for the upgrade. They don't want to spend that extra cash as it could be quite risky. They're not going to do that much damage. And Fry, he's in a fantastic angle. They have to peek into him. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of spray and pray coming out. The panic on display. He can't quite claim the frag. He's going to get taken down as well. It's only T-Sack to utilize his upgraded weapon in his arsenal to take down Connor, but the damage has already been done.
Yeah, it certainly has, but the T's are going to be able to pick things up a little bit as the working men do still have that upgraded firepower. Keita suddenly the last CT remaining, and he just wants to hold this AK if it's all possible. Maybe look for an exit frag, but realistically, the dream right now is just to take that rifle through into the next round. He's definitely not expecting to be able to win out this series, but you know, he does have the bomb on lockdown. He knows exactly where that is. He's actually going to go on a rotation looking for Dudley, but not sure that was the wisest idea.
Fortunate there. We'll hit the ground, but the cash is finally in the bank. They can get their weapons out. What can they do with this arsenal?
Is going to be the question. There's 5 M4s available now for Reason Gaming, and I feel like right now, Reason, they kind of have to win this round. They've got to thwart this working men push that has consistently been winning rounds at this stage. They've got to stop. I mean, basically, right now, the working men, they're just slowly but surely building up a buffer, right? Like, every single round that they win at this point, as long as like 2 or 3 members survive, then they've built up extra money for themselves.
Well, that's why they've kept these SMGs as well, Joe, is you can sort of try it as this little scout play. It doesn't matter too much. They can go in first, either scout out the site, have a little bit of a sniff around, and if they die, it doesn't matter. They're not giving away any advanced weaponry to that side. They're not making their lives easier, and they're only losing these Mach 10s. That rebuy is going to be very cheap.
Yeah, it certainly is, and especially since Reason just won that last round, they're going to be quite happy to potentially give one away. But we'll see how this one's going to pan out. Very, very slow-paced stuff coming out here. The working men know that this is... once we get past double digits, the working men really slow down on that T side. They really start to calculate things. And, you know, it's a very different team to what we see usually in the first half of the game when it's, you know, still low numbers on the scoreboard. It's still kind of anyone's game. They're much more kind of free to just go and do whatever they want. But at this stage, they start to really slow down and start to, I think, worry just a little bit, but it is going to be Dudley going down to start things off as Reason pushes, but turns away at the last second, and Robin is going to punish him for that. It's going to be the working men are slowly but surely getting wiped out at this point, but it's 3 versus 3. Rifle advantage going towards Reason as the bomb is going to be planted on this A side. The CTs are moving their way over as Jacob trying to get a flank. Weber knew that someone was there. Oh my goodness, he spins around and takes it clean off, but he is going to be punished. Robin on the scene, and he's looking for a second one, but Baton punishes him now. And suddenly, 2 very low HP players remaining in this 1 versus 1. Nice little tag from T-Sack with that SMG. A couple more bullets will be enough to finish off Batham, but a single bullet from that M4 should finish off T-Sac. It's going to be whoever hits the target first, and it is going to be Batham. Has no defuse kit to work with, so he can't get the bomb. And it is going to be a working men round after all.
Such a horrible feeling. Did the hard part, but no kit on the end. Couldn't quite get the defuse. Time not of the essence as well, as it took so long to eventually find that frag. And look at the damage it's done to the economy. A state of peril. It's absolutely horrific to look at, really. I mean, if they want to try and get Stank out, it could potentially go for a bit of a force buy up around that M4. But I just don't know if it's worth the risk. Most likely, just hold this out, work your way through, and go into the next round with a strong economy.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best call here, to be honest. But the working men very comfortable here with 5 AKs, plenty of utility to work with as well. Grenades galore, but I think they're looking towards this B site for this one, but Batham starts things off just right. And Weber actually, with that hand cannon, finds yet another kill for themselves. So 2 of the AKs down, and if they can reclaim a couple of them, that'll be in a fantastic spot. But T-Sac is going to answer for Reason Gaming's crimes on that one. He is the sheriff in town, and he's ready to shut this down.
Yeah, that's true. As he just waits, holding out towards that B bomb site. We've seen how talented Weber can be, even in the semi-final alone, and now here in the final, tapping away, still doing damage for his side. Already a 2K on the board. Can he have a hat-trick? Tapping away very close, but unfortunately couldn't quite take it over the final hurdle. You can see he is thirsty for this frag. Wants to try and go for peak. Jacob has a better angle. If he did go for that wide face, then Jacob could have taken him down. And they've spooked him off, running straight in towards the trap of Keita that's coming in behind with the CZ. A weapon that's only a measly pistol. Up close and personal is where it's going to be at its best. And he does get that first frag, but unluckily for him, Jacob does come in with the trade. A 2 versus 1 now, as the A-bomb site will be the protocol.
It certainly will, but Connor is already here, ready and waiting. Jacob actually going to go for the re-peak anyway. But Connor, he has no need to take that fight. He's got a teammate that can go for a flank. So if Connor can play this smart, if he can just hide on this site, not go for the duel, he will have support of Weber, but he's actually going to go for the peak. Trying to make this 1 versus 1 happen as Weber trying to get around the map. Weber's still on the B side for some reason, but Connor is going to be able to take that 1 versus 1 anyway. I wasn't sure whether Weber was just kind of like, okay, we'll let Connor take this one, and then if not, I'll go and clean up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was either that or if he I thought that he might have rotated off after that initial peak. But obviously, interesting one there, but still great stuff for them being able to shut him down, keeping that ball rolling. Reason Gaming, it's good to see them having these moments of greatness. And this is where they have a lot of potential. This is sort of their environment where they thrive. The double AWP setup coming out, 1 on Keita, 1 on Weber. We know how powerful both of these players can be with the AWP, especially Keita. He had sort of a decline in actually AWPing, moved more to rifling throughout the end of the season, but I'm very happy to see him with an AWP right now in the finals, Joe. Incredibly fast with flicks, fantastic reactions on this man.
Yeah, absolutely right on that one. Just 4 rounds separate these two teams right now. This really is anyone's game, especially in this round where everybody has the rifles to work with. It's the working men once more towards this B side, trying to make this push happen. Batham here on the stairs, looking for a way in, looking for an entry frag, trying to find a head to pop. He's not quite going to be able to find a target just yet, and still a minute on the clock. So the working men, they can kind of do what they want still in this round. They haven't lost any players, so they still have a lot of freedom to work with. But Robin is going to go down as Connor starts this round off right for his team, and Reason with the advantage. Let's see what the working men do about it.
Dudley over towards drop down as well. Going to be spotting around right now, seeing if he can clear those angles, potentially get himself down and go for the backstab on towards the A-bomb site. Reason will be alerted of the presence now of the T's that are working up short. Just going to barrage their way out onto the bomb site. The smoke goes down as well. Let's see who can find the frags. Reason will kick it off as he slays down Fry. It's a 3 versus 5, and it's getting worse and worse by the moment for the work-in run. This round really hasn't gone their way.
So there's on Jacob on the side, but Keita is going to shut him down. Reason chimes in as well. And suddenly Dudley finds himself all alone. He does have an AK to work with, but 1 versus 5. The question is, do you just want to hold on to that weapon at this stage? He is going to get sprayed, but Dudley somehow wins out that fight. Just 13 HP remaining. Will get shut down by Keita in the end. Reason, they're closing the gap here. They're getting very, very close. And the working men, I think, are starting to sweat just a little bit here because they have run out of money once more. And Reason, they only lost 1 player. They can comfortably go for that rebuy. And if they can start to consistently get rounds like that, they're going to be in a very, very cushy spot.
Oh, that's a spooky idea to sort of believe about, really. The fact that obviously they're putting them in a situation where the economy is now turning against them. The working men, the majority of their CT half, you know, they had a very stable economy. And the fact that started to be swept away from down their T half, they can't have that same experience, isn't going to be great. This round should be a doozy for Reason. Just be able to go for this aggressive style of CS, count them a little bit here, and just shut them down. The working men have to bounce back, though, Joe.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Just remember, this is a best of 3 for the grand finals. And both of these teams going to be wanting to have the advantage in this series. Connor, or Reason, sorry, finding a nice little shot onto Robin at very, very long range. But here we go, the push on towards this B site is going to begin. Batham is going to be there, and Weber chimes in as well. And those 3 remaining terrorists in the blink of an eye are just wiped off of the server.
Yeah, absolutely destroyed Reason as well. Look at that economy starting to form together. Looking nice and healthy. Keita with 8k left in the bank. The rest of his team sitting at around 5k. So this is good to see. Working men, though, they're going to try something a little bit risky once again. Jacob will actually be the man to don the P90. Much like he was absolutely brutalized by Keita in the previous half. Let's see if he's going to try and go for that drop aggression right now. Just sitting towards mid, see if anyone's going to play into his hands once his teammates try and shut down Weber. But it's really not going to work out.
Certainly is not. Now just 2 rounds separate these teams, and Reason once more take that early kill and find themselves kind of in the lead, I suppose, in terms of this round. But over a minute remaining, the working men have plenty of time to kind of go back to the drawing board and work out what they want to achieve with this round. They still have the bomb very much in their possession. It's going to be Fry holding on to that explosive. But it looks like they do want to commit to this B site. They're just deciding how to go about it, how to make this execute happen. And actually the rotation's coming out from Reason over towards the A site. I think maybe thinking that that might be where it's going to kick off, but here we go. They begin to start this push over towards drop down. Jacob going to be the first man in. Signals to his teammates that that is going to be clear. Fry. Nice little smoke actually going to stop Connor from being able to capitalize on this.
Yeah, they try and make their way in. Just slowly tiptoeing their way through right now, clearing these angles. They don't want to be picked off immediately. Robin coming in. Weber will actually get the opening. Frag takes down Jacob. And there's Batham lying in wait this entire time, just wait for the right time to strike as he removed Connor from the situation. Connor actually coming in with that frag on towards Fry. Weber will burn Batham off. Dudley standing in the fire as he finds 2 frags somehow, just tears for everyone with that AK-47. Deadly accurate, but unluckily for him, left on 13 HP and has the best. 2 more members of the side of Reason Gaming. No time left on the clock. Peeks in towards the crosshair of Reason, and he can obliterate him.
And there we have it, Reason. Just 1 round away from an equalizer right now. And if you take a look at the economy right now of working men, they don't have anything to work with. They're going to have to once more just go for this Tech 9 buy. A couple of players going to be going with the armor as well. Just a couple of nice little shots. Actually, Dudley got tagged there, but Dudley, just that moment right there, even one of them threw the smoke. That was absolutely sick coming out from him, but a very quick round by the looks of things coming out from the working men. They can't quite rush through that molly, but Weber is going to be waiting the second that fire is gone, and they've gone into drop down. Fry going to be the point man, trying to take kills with the M4, but it's not going to happen. 3 versus 3 now. The rifle's still in the favor of Reason Gaming. Just 2 Tech 9s are not going to be enough as Robin tries to go for the 1v3, but there is a hail of bullets just waiting for him around that corner. And the equalizer has come out now. Reason Gaming are back into this match. 12-12 is the score, but the working men, they've got money to play with finally, and 2 ups are going to be coming out here for this terrorist side. It's going to be double up on both sides, in fact, and this is kind of the ultimate rifle buy, the ultimate rifle round for these 2 teams, and this is very, very important for the working men here.
It is indeed. I mean, this has to be a ridiculously big round. They need to snap this one up. And it's quite scary as well. They have that fat lumbering over them, as you were saying. Interesting as well, you know, you got Weber and Keita there, back on the AWPs. That double AWP setup going up against Dudley and Jake. And we've seen how effective both of these pairs have been when they actually go for this double AWP setup and utilising it very effectively on their way through the groups. And even yesterday, earlier on today when we actually saw that semi-final, that was where it really started kicking off. We saw with Jacob and Dudley how just site to site, both of them really going massive whenever they went for this setup. So let's see if that's going to come into play on their T side. We'll allow them to be a little bit more organic, potentially a little bit more aggressive when they go for their opener. But right now it's been early days, nothing kicking it off too much, no sort of telltale signs. But they might be walking themselves into a bit of a trap. Connor just lying in wait towards mid here. If they pop out, he needs to get shut down immediately, or he could really just throw a spanner in the works for this plan. It is going to be that A split later on into the round.
Yeah, and I think a lot rests on Keita here. With that orb, he's going to be watching down towards mid, and I think he's about to get the first frag of the round. Dudley goes down, and that is a key member. The orb's coming up big right now for Reason, winning out those battles and taking those early picks, and now the working men suddenly find themselves between a rock and a hard place. Just 3 members remaining, and they have to push in towards these snipers. It's never a good situation to be in, and in fact, they decide that this is not even a round that they want to go for. They want to hold on to what little economy they have right now and keep those weapons. So now it's going to be 6 rounds in a row right now for Reason, who have just come into their stride right now. Towards the end of this half, they have just been phenomenal.
That's what we spoke about, right? We said they both look like these teams that if they don't instantly come in firing from all cylinders, it can take them a little while to actually get themselves into their comfort zone and look like they can bring that pain. And Keita and Dudley are the 2 guys, when you look at it overall, that have really been doing the damage. Best bit is as well, Fry's finally started to get himself into the comfort zone. It looks like an entirely different man on display right now. I mean, we wanted to see this, right? We wanted this Fry from the group stages, and all of a sudden he turns up when it matters most, Joe.
Certainly does. 21 and 16 on him. But this round, this is probably the most important round of the game with the working men. They have to shut down Reason. They can't afford to let this hype train keep on rolling. They've got to be that ticket officer that's just going to say, hang on, you haven't paid for this journey. Here we go. Reason just spreading out across both of those sides. 4 members towards B, though, is Jacob trying to peek with that up, trying to find just someone who's going to overextend ever so slightly, but it's going to be unfortunate in this one, not really going to find a target just yet. But this is about as tense as it gets, really, for the grand final as well. First map of this best of 3. Neither team wants to be the one to make the mistake, but Jacob finds Weber to kick things off, and that is a huge frag. Weber himself being taken down could be what they need to take this round. They push on in, and Batham goes as well. Fry finds one onto Connor, and suddenly it's only Reason remaining. The molly will get one, but Jacob shuts him down, and the working men equalize once more. There's plenty of money remaining, though, for Reason Gaming.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right, Joe? It's taken all of this, all of that effort. It's been such a long time coming. You can see the effects it's had on them. Not only mentally, that struggle to finally get that first round, but in their economy in game and the state it's been left in, it's not really what you want. It's not glorious, to say the least. And it has to keep going. You can't have these stints right now. We're so close, round 27. You need to pick it up, but it's not going to happen. Keita, he just runs his way down peak side, and not only does he get 1 frag, he's going to be able to turn that collateral in. Fry and Robin, 2 of the power players for the working men, instantly removed from the game in 1 swipe of his mouse.
And you know what, we questioned Keita earlier on, but I think he's just proved himself for the entire tournament. It's going to end up going down to T-Tac there, but Reason trades it straight on back. Jacob once more with that up, trying to make things happen, but he's against 4 members and will get shut down by Weber in the end. Keita going absolutely huge in that round, and that pretty much seals the round for Reason, but once more, economy in tatters for the working men.
Yeah, they're going to have to just buy whatever they can. Most likely just going to go for these Tech 9s, SMGs if they can afford them, go for an aggressive B play. Send T-Sac with that AK to peek towards Olafmeister with the backup of Dudley. Get Fry, Robin and Jacob to just go for that early aggression towards drop down. Barrage your way out onto the site and do what you can. That is your best case scenario right now.
Here we go. We'll see what they can do with this buy that they have managed to scrape together. 2 Tech 9s and a P90, as well as those AKs. If they can find the headshots, if we see Dudley and T-Sac managing to use those rifles to their full effect, then maybe they can stay in this game. But if Reason can shut this down, it might just be curtains for the working men. And we might just have to head on to our second map, which I believe was Mirage. Certainly a map that the working men would look forward to. And we said maybe this is the map that Reason absolutely have to win to stay in this semi-final, or to stay in this final, sorry.
Yeah.
Reason laying in wait here. Just watching for someone to push.
You can see how timid they are right now. This is very different from the workmen we're used to seeing. They don't have any breathing room, Joe. They could be swiped down in the strike of a hand, and there it is. Batham coming in. He's going to be their maker. Connor unfortunately gets taken down, and Batham follows suit. And it is a 3 versus 3. They push their way out towards the bomb site. Weber, the whiff as he comes out. He can't actually get the follow-up frag either. This is so detrimental. He needs to do some damage. He will eventually be able to best Dudley, but he's getting pushed up close and personal is Robin, but he beats into him. Keto with a frag on Jacob as well, and they do it. They're able to secure that match point. Reason fighting their way through to the bitter end.
And that was a very scary moment watching Weber there as he whiffed a couple of shots. It felt like maybe this is all going to go to pieces, but that shot right there, very quick, very precise, and he finds that final one as well. Keita chimed in as well to save his teammate's neck, and now Reason Gaming on match point, just the Tech 9s here for the working men. It's going to be a challenge for them to be able to get this round on the board, but they're just going to go for this one very quickly, pushing onto the side. Batham and Weber shutting them down though.
Wow, look at this all-out aggression. If we thought the working men had any breathing room left, it's been drained from them. They're absolutely obliterated right now into this final one. It's just a matter of time before Robin gets removed. Tech 9 in hand, 1 versus 3. He's on the site. Actually does find himself a nice little M4 to work with, but look at this. Weber coming in with a flank. It's not going to matter. Keita's there. He has the AWP in his hands. He's so proficient with this weapon. Takes him down, and there you have it. Reason looking like they had lost it. Looking like it might have slipped past them, but all of a sudden they remember this is our map pick. This is our final, Joe, and we're going to be taking it.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, we're going to a second map, and the next map is going to be Mirage. That is the pick for, obviously, the working men. They kind of, first seed, they get the second pick in the rotation, and that was crucial, the reason we're able to take that first map. And I mean, what a map it was. What a way to start this series off. And if that's anything to go by, this will go to 3 games, and it will be exceptional.
This is the thing that excites me the most as well, though, right? Is I was talking about how powerful Keita can be when he's got his AWP in his hands, and we saw him sort of taking a step back, rifling a lot more towards the end of the season. I'm very excited to see him having that AWP back. Coming in there instantly with a collateral as well. It is great to see. Reason, if they keep this up, they are going to do that name proud, because they are definitely looking like a team that deserves to be playing under it right now.
Yeah, and I love this little flash from Weber right here. Just kind of that was the moment. That flashbang got them into the game. It shut working men down, and it stopped that momentum, because those first 5 rounds were dicey at best for Reason. Just losing out in duels, not landing their shots. It just didn't feel quite right from them. But the working men finally got stopped. Dudley with a beautiful little spray there did manage to make things happen. And all in all, Reason somehow managed to kind of scrape their way back into that, and the second half from them was just so convincing.
Oh yeah, and I've got to give it to you, by the way. You've mentioned the man himself, Dudley. We've wanted him to perform this entire season. We had hints of it across the board, but this final so far, he is doing what he needed to do, really coming in. It's so unfortunate for the side of the working men, purely off the back of the amount of frags him and Fry had. Fry finally starting to display that skill we've seen entire season long. He's here now, it's in the final. We saw hints of it in the semi-final, but now he's bringing the whole hog, and it's got to be so unfortunate for him they couldn't pick up Cobblestone. Because as we were saying, Cobblestone's definitely a map that the working men have proven they can dominate on. So the fact that they've been bested by Reason here, their map pick, if they would have been able to take this, they could have shut down Mirage early with that extra confidence boost. But now, Joe, this is it. I think guaranteed this is going to be the full 3 maps here. I mean, I expected 30 rounds. We were very close to actually seeing the full 30 rounds there, and this has been exciting so far, and I can't wait to see what else we have in store.
It has been absolutely exceptional, and I think the fact that Reason were able to take Cobble has been very important for kind of their confidence going into this second map, because, they lost to Infuse on Cobble pretty convincingly, to be quite honest. It was a little bit of a whitewash, especially in the first half of that game. It was very, very one-sided toward Infuse. So I think for Reason, they needed that convincing win. They needed to be able to, well, I say convincing win, to be fair, that was as back and forth as it gets, but they needed that win on the board. And the last few rounds, the last sort of quarter of the game was very convincing towards them. And they are going to be able to get that on the board, and they are going to be able to move on with a 1-0 advantage in this grand final.
Remember, guys, that's the thing. This is a best-of-3 final. So Reason right now, they've secured that first map. The working men have to win 2 maps in a row to be able to win this season of the ESL UK Premiership Finals. So there's a lot on the line, and Joe, I can't wait.
No, I can't either. They've got them on the ropes. Let's see if Reason are going to be able to finish off the working men with a KO, or whether the bell is going to be ringing the other way. We'll find out in just a few minutes' time.
So, you have